Hello, welcome to our podcast CCU Now, where we talk about films that have come out now, as opposed to films that came out previously, which is our other podcast, CCU Rewind.
So they're very, very different.
Yeah, they're very different because they're the exact same setup, except one's on films from then and one's on films from now.
Sometimes we can be bothered going to the cinema, and sometimes we can't.
Yeah,
so we just watch whatever's on Netflix.
The cheaper Netflix show. This is a big budget show. We had to spend £5 on a ticket to see
this. We've got a special guest today.
We've got a special guest, Edie, the cat, sitting here, might attack me with a poker.
Huge,
she's gonna bite me.
Huge fee to get her to appear on the show.
Yeah, gosh, she's only going to stay here for a little bit of time, I think, because it get too expensive after that. She charges by the hour. 100 catnips an hour.
Unless she falls asleep, which is entirely possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Right, should we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. So, because we've not even said what we watched yet.
No.
This week.
We watched Robin Hood.
We did watch Robin Hood.
Which
we haven't even spoken about yet.
No, we
liked it.
We kept our tongues in our mouths.
I've only just realised that now. Do you want to do? Do you want to you say whether you like it and I'll say whether I like it.
Should we do that straight away? Yeah.
Yeah. Should we start straight off with that?
Let's start with that. Okay.
Oh, that's ideal.
Don't beep through the shot. What the fuck? I'm leaving that in.
Someone's beeped outside.
Yeah.
Which kind of takes away the magic of us being in a whole studio.
I know. My studio house. My studio home. They've ruined it.
And it seems to have frustrated the cat somewhat.
Yeah, it should be alright. She hates Carl Holmes. Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so...
What did you think?
What did I think of it?
Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Well, it kept... I don't know. There were moments where I was just kind of like, well, it's kind of... At least it's, it's bombastic. Things are happening. Yeah. People are fighting each other a lot, and they're trying very hard to get the audience's attention at all times.
Yeah.
And that worked a few times on me, but mostly no, it was pretty dire. It was like a very, very bad film.
I actually really liked it.
Did you really like it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I really liked
back
it.
for this.
I had a great time.
Oh, she's leaving. Bye. She charges, but yeah, we charge by the hour.
Bye, cat. I think that beat really threw her off. Also, she's disgusted that I liked it.
Yeah, she's like, you liked Robin Hood?
Because we snuck her into the cinema,
so
she could watch the movie as well.
She fell asleep.
Yeah, which is probably why she's so upset with us.
Yeah, don't blame her. So you liked it?
I liked it.
Why did you justify your stupid conclusion? I want to know why.
I had fun watching it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was ridiculous, but I also thought it was kind of self-aware enough of how ridiculous it was that it was okay. I can see why it's not made any money, and I think part of that is that it's not been very well marketed.
No.
But mostly I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Well, I wouldn't watch it again.
No.
But I enjoyed it while I was watching it.
Yeah.
I liked Taron Egerton. I thought he was quite good.
Yeah.
Well, I like Jamie Foxx and Taron Egerton. I thought they were good together.
Yeah.
I thought he could have been a bit better at points.
Yeah, I don't really like Robin at all. That was the problem. Like,
he
had no specific values. He was just kind of like he liked being rich, but said he didn't like being rich, but obviously did, and then said all he thought about was getting back to Maid Marian so they could be in their rich mansion and have rich meals together. And then she said she loves being poor and loves the poor, but then she wanted to live in that. She was like, that was my dream too. I want to live in a mansion with you.
There were a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
There was a weird part at the start where it was like Afghanistan for some reason.
Yeah, there was. Well, should we do the synopsis?
Yeah, we'll do the synopsis.
Yeah, we'll do our segment.
Ultimately, I liked it, and you didn't really like it.
I didn't really like it, no.
Well, that's good, because it's nice to have a bit of a difference.
Yeah, exactly. The thing I enjoyed the most, I'll say, is that we were in a kind of a dead cinema. Yeah. And there was nobody around. I didn't care what the 7 people thought, so I was just insulting the film as it went on. Every time there was like a lull, I was just like, "Oh, that was shit." I think we enjoyed sniping at the film.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed just taking the mick out of it. Yeah. It was very silly.
Yeah, we made it fun.
It was fun. Yeah, should we do who's doing it? Is it me doing it?
You're doing it. I'll announce the segment if you want.
You'll announce the segment?
I'll announce the segment which you came up with.
Which is a great name.
Yeah. Gone in 30 Seconds is a segment where one of us, which is going to be you, has to explain the film's synopsis in 30 seconds. Yeah. That's it.
Tell us what happened.
What happened in 30 seconds. And I think you've got it on this one. We've not managed to do the last 2. We've got halfway through the synopsis before time's run out.
Yeah.
But now
I screwed you over because I started it and then you were still talking and I was like, you were running out of time.
Yeah, exactly. You did, yeah. And in the first one that you did, you didn't realise how quickly 30 seconds was.
That's true.
It's very fast.
It's a very short time. So count me in and I'm ready to go.
I'm not sure which button I press to start. Let me just try it out. That's not the one, okay. That's the one to start, okay. Right. I'll count you in.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, go
2,
on.
1.
So this movie is essentially a movie about a man who goes to Iraq in 2003, except everyone's got bows and arrows apart from guns, but they fundamentally do exactly the same thing. They've got like machine gun arrows. Then he comes back, everything's gone to shit, and he decides he's going to help all the poor people, and he does a relatively poor job of it. And it has kind of a vague link to Robin Hood because he's called Robin, and it's kind of set in a roughly similar time period.
Mm-hmm. That's 28 seconds. That was good.
There you go.
Okay, nice one.
I think I said the most important thing, which is that this movie is not actually a movie about Robin Hood, really.
It's about the Iraq War.
The Iraq War.
I said to you, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sheriff of Nottingham was being played by Tony Blair.
It is Tony Blair.
Yeah, or George Bush, like one of them.
Tony Blair. This is a movie about the New World Order and how the Iraq War was set up to keep Tony Blair in power.
Well, the whole being in Iraq thing was just like Modern Warfare. Like it was like a trailer for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. They were just like there was quick shots, and every arrow was like breaking through stone and and destroying it, and they were like hiding behind things, and there was a giant ballista filled with like 1,000,000 arrows, and you were like, is that a machine gun? And it was just going with the ballista,
and like he would reload it with new like packs of arrows, like magazines.
Yeah, I've never seen any period because it's supposed to be sometime in the medieval period. I don't know exactly when it existed.
It never, and that's one of the things that I like. I liked it because it said at the start, and it was dumb when it said it, but it was like I can tell you what time it is, but I don't remember.
So I don't remember when this took place. Also, history's boring, and you don't want to hear that.
That's
what the narrator said at the start.
I was like, all right, fine. If you're gonna say that, then I guess you get to get away with just doing whatever
you want.
The reason I say it's like an Iraq War movie is because if you've seen like I was talking about American Sniper, which I think is actually Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Is it called Green Zone?
I'm not seeing Green Zone.
Is that what it's called?
I'm not sure. It reminded me of Black Hawk Down.
Black Hawk Down. It's a lot like Black Hawk Down. It's a lot like that one where Jeremy Renner's defusing bombs. What's that one called?
Oh. Yeah, I know which one you mean, but we shouldn't bother because we don't know what they are. We were thinking about them forever.
It's like all these movies. Like it's obviously it probably does quite a good job of portraying the chaos of war at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like his friends die very quickly and stuff like that. It's quite horrible at the start. And then he kind of betrays the army and they shoot him with an arrow and send him home.
Yeah, because he's fighting Jamie Foxx, who's jumped in as a random Arabian assassin because they're in Arabia. He just says Arabia.
Which is a place. It's just Arabia.
And Jamie Foxx, being a black African American actor, they were just like, you can play an Arab. So he plays an Arab.
Yeah, they put like lines of spots on his face. I guess that made him.
Yeah, they made it look like scarring as well. Didn't like he'd done like some sort of scarring thing. I don't know, on his face. Yeah. But he tries to kill Robin.
Yeah,
Taron Egerton. And Jamie Foxx's character gets his hand cut off by one of Robin's, like I think it's his captain or something, in the army. I don't know what they call him.
Yeah, he's in charge, but crucially, Robin is like he's a lord. He's the Lord of Loxley, and whoever's in charge of him is not a lord. So he's like, you're a little bitch because you're a lord or whatever.
Yeah, well that's how the film starts, isn't it? So he in sequence the film's like he is a rich boy and he meets Marion, who's like a little thief, and then they get together. They like fuck in his castle a bit.
Yeah, they do. They seem to just be banging in the castle a lot.
Yeah, all the
I mean,
time.
It never shows it, but I assume there's years of them.
And someone knocks on his door, and they just and he's like, "Fuck off, we're busy." I'm
banging some girl.
Yeah, but the letter he gives him is the draft to the army.
It says on the top of a draft.
Yeah, it's like you have to join the army in big letters. Yeah, and then he goes to the army and he's just thinking about Marion the whole time.
Yeah.
She gets told he's dead 2 years into his 4-year stint in the army.
In the Crusades.
In the Crusades, yeah. It's the Crusades, isn't it?
It's the Crusades. It does follow the basic Robin Hood story.
Yeah.
Like he goes to the Crusades. Sometimes there's King Richard and sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's a Prince John and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But he goes to the Crusades, he comes back, and when he gets back, his castle's been all like messed up. They've taken bits of it for some reason.
Yeah, they seized his castle for money to pay for the war.
Yeah.
But I don't know how seizing his castle and letting it fall into ruin is making them any money. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
And then he comes back. the sheriff's made all the people in Nottingham work in some kind of mine, which we can only surmise is, it doesn't ever say what kind of mine it is. There's a lot of coal about. It's possible.
But there's more fire.
But as far as I can tell, it's a fire mine.
You didn't know it was just like, is this a fire mine? What the fuck is going on? There's one, boys, get it.
They're digging holes and there's just fire coming out the hole.
Yeah, they're setting fire to all the fossil fuels they're digging up.
Just immediately burning the fuel. And it's not like this is when it's just supposed to be working. It's not like when there's a big rebellion on, there's fire everywhere. This is just the mines working perfectly normally, and they're just digging up fire.
I don't know there were miners in whatever period that's supposed to be in, because what are they using the coal for? Like, I guess, like, are there steam trains by that point? Is there anything they can use the coal for?
It's ridiculous to try.
It's not the Industrial Revolution. Like, why do they need coal and oil?
It seemingly is the Industrial Revolution, but also it's the medieval times. It's ridiculous to try and pinpoint a
Sheriff of Nottingham has like a big leather white jacket on the whole time.
The Sheriff of Nottingham, which is Ben Mendelsohn, is dressed exactly the same as he is in Rogue One, where he also plays the same character.
It's a long leather trench coat.
Yeah, apart from he's on a ship, a spaceship in that movie, and in this he's in a castle. It's essentially the same.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're going to talk now about what time we thought it was in, like what time we think it was set in.
Yeah. So what time period do you think is set?
I don't know. I can't really. It doesn't seem real, like a real time period, but I would imagine like a Tudor period. It seems like an Elizabeth I or Henry VIII, like Tudor period. But like I say, they've thrown all history out the window instantly because they don't think anyone. Well, they say because they don't think anyone's interested in it, but clearly the writer and director weren't interested in history, and we're just like, we'll just make it up.
I think my history's not great on this particular thing, but I think I think Richard, the Lionheart, and King John and the Crusades are like 1300.
Okay, right. Yeah, Elizabeth I's like 1500 and like Henry's like 14 to 15. Yeah.
But that's the thing, like the rest of, apart from the fact that there's a crusade on, because they never mention the king or anything like that, the rest of the world doesn't fit in to this that period of time at all. There's an evil cardinal for some reason.
Yeah, he was weird.
Yeah, so the church has taken a lot of control. But yeah, also it's seemingly the Industrial Revolution, and also in a lot of ways more advanced than today, because people have like bow and arrow firing devices that we've not invented yet.
No, it's insane. He's like, there's a part where he's fighting, Robin's fighting against like an entire army because he was trying to sneak into the treasury by clinging to the bottom of a cart that's supposed to go to the treasury, but he ended up in the counting room because they start counting the money first instead of putting it in the treasury for the first time ever. I don't know why.
Because he attacks the other place, and the guy gets like, no, it's not going to go straight into the treasury anymore. I'm going to go straight into the counting room. We'll count it.
Yeah, but I don't know why they weren't counting it prior to that. Like, why wouldn't you count your money? Like, how are you going to spend it?
If you could do that, why weren't you doing that?
Yeah, I guess he doesn't really care how much money he's got when he's just taking all the money from all the people. Yeah, I don't really know.
Because there's a part where he's like, take all the money and burn all the houses down. And you were like, why? Why would you do that?
Well, yeah, because he was like, burn all the houses down, kill all of the people who live in those areas. And it's like, but they're working in the mines for you so you can earn money. It's like, it's like you can take all the money they've got on them, which won't be a lot because it's all been going to you anyway. But then you've killed all your workers and there's no revenue. So next month you're making no money because everyone's fucking dead.
He's not a very intelligent capitalist.
No, he's not. But then when in that scene where he goes into the treasury, he he's meant to be going to the treasury. He fights a bunch of guards, and they're all fully armoured, like full iron armour on their face, on their chest. Got, like,
big iron face masks.
And every single arrow that he fires just goes straight through their armour, like they're made of paper. And I'm like, why are they even wearing armour? Like, you hit a guy in the head who's wearing a helmet, and it hits him in the head, and he goes, oh, and dies. And it's like, that's not. Why are you wearing a helmet if you can't protect you against arrows? You might as well just. You'll see better without it. I don't know.
Yeah, you've got no peripheral vision. But also, he wears a padded jacket, which on 2 occasions saves his life.
Yeah, because he got shot in the chest, didn't he?
Oh no, 2 occasions. Yeah, right at the very beginning, the Guy Gisborne, he's another Robin Hood character, who's played by a guy I don't know very much about. He shoots him in the chest because he's stopped him from murdering a man in cold blood, and then that's why they ship him off home because they like put him on a medical boat and take him home. And then later in the movie, he gets hit again in the chest, saving Marion.
And every time in like the left side of the chest, like where your heart is, where the important, you know, it's like if it can go through armour, surely that arrow can go right through his ribcage into his heart.
Incredibly well padded jacket. just stops the book.
Well, it's a coat because Jamie Foxx turns it into a jacket. Do you remember that? He's like, why are you cutting the sleeves off my jacket? He's like, it's not mobile enough off my coat, and he's like, don't mess with my coat. And he walked back inside. He's like, sorry, coat, it's a jacket now.
It's a jacket, you dickhead. And then he loses his hand, so he can't fire arrows.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is like training him, isn't he? So he like Robin Hood saves Jamie Foxx's, or tries to save Jamie Foxx's son from getting executed in Iraq, Arabia, and he tries to stop him, but then he can't. Then he gets shot in the chest by the guys to say like fuck off, and then they kill him anyway. And Jamie Foxx stows away on the boat, and then is just around all the time as Little John
all the way home from Iraq.
It's like, what's your stupid Arabian name? And he's like, my Arabian name is this, blah 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 blah. And he's like, I'll call you John. He just calls him John for the rest of the film.
I don't know. Like, I know there's occasional times when he seems to like, and it's not clear. It's never made clear whether, because obviously the Crusades involved the Moors and the English and a number of other groups. And as far as I'm aware, it was Islamic. It was an Islamic war against the Christians, and again, I don't know very much about that period of time. And so he occasionally says things that sound like they might be from like the Quran or something, but he kind of just like mumbles them, and like you can't tell. I couldn't tell whether he was just speaking English and we're just saying it really quietly. Yeah. And I couldn't tell what he was saying, and also he's American anyway. Yeah. So the whole thing didn't make any sense.
Yeah, considering we're talking about what period in time it's in, what place is it in, because there's Irish people, like the guy William is Irish, the girl is American, Irish. Jamie Foxx speaks American, but she's like meant to be from Nottingham, and she has the same accent as Jamie Foxx, who's from Arabia.
Yeah, and she's got like an American Irish weird. Yeah, I don't know why. She's trying to do an English voice, but she's American, so she's doing almost an Irish voice.
Yeah, because they can't tell the difference.
It pivots as well, actually. Into another thing we were going to talk about, which is the actors in this movie, because I think they vary wildly in terms of quality. I actually thought that Taron Egerton, who plays Robin Hood, is okay.
He's alright, yeah.
I think he's fine. He's not nearly as charming as he should be.
But that's partly the script again, though. Yeah. It's like he's not doing things that would make him endearing to an audience.
That's very true.
So it's not fair.
He plays a very, very similar. He plays basically the opposite character to like the same but mirrored to the character he plays in Kingsman. Because you've not seen Kingsman. No. The story of Kingsman is that he's like, there's this super secret agency, but they only take posh people. Right. And they whatever. But his dad nearly got into it, and he got killed. So the guy one of the posh people who worked with his dad, watches him grow up, and then he helps him become part of this agency. So he's like, he becomes a super secret great agent, but he's not posh, he's all common. Yeah. Whereas in this movie, he's really posh. And he becomes kind of a secret agent, because he's like a super powerful arrow man who kills lots of people. He's a mass murderer in this movie.
Yeah, he's a mass murderer, kills a lot of people. Because Jamie Foxx trains him to fight, doesn't he? And then he's like, you should be able to hold like 3 arrows between your fingers, so you can find them as quickly as possible. And then the first thing you see him actually do it, he shoots like 5 guys in like 1 second. He's like bang 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 bang, and they're all just dead. And it's no one defended themselves. No one trying to get out of the way.
Whacking it. It's like a machine gun. Yeah. But he's much more charming in those movies than he is in this. Jamie Foxx, I think he's good.
Yeah, he's alright. Yeah, he didn't really try and do anything to make himself seem Arabian or sound Arabian. And then the filmmakers made a mistake having him be the only black person in the entire of the film, because it's like, if black people in this instance are from Arabia, which isn't right anyway, it's like, well, he's walking around like dressed as a noble. It's like, if any of those people, especially in the Crusades, are going to be in this country, they're going to be there as slaves. They're not going to be there as like high noblemen. But he would just like, in the middle of like, because Robin's trying to like get with the Sheriff of Nottingham and like pretend like they're friends. And the whole time Jamie Foxx is just like, psst. And he like will walk into the middle of a conversation, like, "Come on, we're going now." And it's like, no point is anybody being like, "Who's that Arab who's you hanging around?"
Yeah, because the sheriff does like all these speeches about it. He's like, "The Arabs will come for us." It's like Enoch Powell. He's like, "The streets will run with blood" and all this stuff. And then Robin's like, yeah, we've got to go fight the Arabs. And then his Arab mate comes over and he's like, hey,
we'll go for a pint. He just goes up, all right, let's go. He's like, hang out with an Arab now.
Talk about how we're friends and stuff. Jamie Foxx is good, but I think Jamie Foxx is only good because Jamie Foxx is a good actor.
Yeah, he has like a thing where he does like a lot of... he does some really, really good films, like amazing films. Like he was great in Baby Driver, he was great in like Django, he's great in loads of films. But then there's always this underlayer of just like dead Jamie Foxx films. That he's just been in all this. I mean, he makes a lot of money obviously off it, but he's just like in everything.
He was in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. That was really
yeah, it was.
Yeah. So not so good. He's fine. I think he's fine.
Yeah, I think.
I think for me, Tim Minchin plays Friar Tuck. I thought he was probably the best.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one who's actually trying.
Yeah, he made the most of the lines that he'd been given.
Yeah.
Like he hadn't been given great lines, but he really like tried hard to deliver them. At least make them funny because he's Tim Minchin, not because the lines themselves are funny.
Yeah, he plays it really silly and it's fun, but he's also like kind of serious, and I like it. I think he's good. Yeah, I thought the woman who played Marion, who was one of the only people I hadn't seen before, was called Eve Hewson or Howson.
Yeah, something like that.
I thought she was really bad, I have to say. I really didn't think she was good at all. I thought her accent was weird, and I didn't really buy anything.
She was an interchangeable, like, she
was a love interest character who was. They tried to give her more time on screen, but and I've nothing against doing that. They should have given her a lot more time and a lot more of a story.
Yeah.
But I just really thought she was really.
I think they should have just made it Nicole Kidman, because in two of the trailers, two out of the three trailers we saw were Nicole Kidman films.
And one of them was like, Nicole Kidman's back at her best. She's the best now.
Yeah, all those little like shots. Yeah.
I thought she was really bad, and I might be giving her a hard time there. But I just every time she was on screen, I was like, "Oh, go away."
I know. I was not. What Jamie Dornan? What did you think about him?
I like Jamie Dornan.
You think it was alright? Yeah.
I think it was good. So he plays Will Scarlet / Two-Face from Batman.
Yeah.
And he's also the guy. He's also out of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, and he's like basically been fucking marrying whilst Robin's been away for at least 2 years.
Yeah, Robin goes away. He's gone away for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
2 years in, they think he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So she moves on and gets with Jamie Dornan, and I imagine they do all kinds of weird 50 Shades of Grey stuff together.
Yeah.
Maybe she's into that, I don't know. Robin comes back, and there's no question that she's immediately going to leave her current boyfriend.
No.
Who's quite a nice guy, and he's just trying to make things better for everyone.
Yeah, he's trying to use politics to get what he wants, as opposed to he's trying to do it through the system instead of doing what Robin Hood's doing, where he's going out and killing everyone.
Robin Hood's just murdering people in the street, and he's like, "That's a bad thing," and everyone's like, "Boo!"
Yeah, I was gonna say they make it out like all the way through. It's like politics are bad, actual politics are bad. Just have a revolution, and then it's like church is bad. People who go to the church are horrible. Like, it's just like they were just because the cardinal was just like the most evil man in the entire world.
Most evil person.
Yeah. I understand like that, you know, organized religion isn't always the best, especially like Catholicism has like a terrible history. But he was like, he almost immediately when you first meet him, he says to the sheriff like, "I don't believe in God." He's just like, "I don't believe in God. I'm the devil." He basically says, "I am the devil," and I'm like, "What? You're a cardinal? You're saying?" Like, at least like pretend that you're doing it on behalf of God. Don't just say you don't believe in God. That was a bit random.
There's a fantastic part of this movie where it all kind of comes to a head, and like the mines where all the poor people have been raided by the army, and they have to decide what they're going to do about it. And so Robin Hood and Will Scarlet, Marion's two boyfriends, have like a basically like a town square meeting type of situation where everyone in the whole of Nottingham comes and they like present their ideas, and Will Scarlet's like, "We need to leave, we can't win this, they're going to keep battering us, we need to go somewhere safe, we need to be practical, there's no point fighting in the streets, we can deal with this politically and all this stuff." And you're like, yeah, he's got a good point. And then Robin Hood comes and he's like, we're gonna murder her.
I've got a bow and arrow. Grab your pitchforks.
We're gonna give him a good killing. It'll be great. Everyone's gonna die, and most of you will die as well because these guys have inexplicably got riot shields.
Yeah. The riot shields bit. God, that's horrible. They've got riot shields the size of their bodies. They're hiding behind them at the police officers looking through like a little window.
And he says all that stuff, and everyone in the crowd goes, "Yeah, Robin Hood. Yeah, we're gonna all be murderers." And then, seemingly, they present completely opposite points of view, and Marion jumps in on Robin Hood's side, so it's clear at that point that she's gonna bang him and not Will Scarlet. And then Robin just walks over to him and he's like, "I couldn't do this without you, Will." And Will Scarlet's just like, "Yeah, fine."
And shakes his hand. Yeah, that annoys me because like they didn't. All they had to do in that scene was when the crowd are getting roused and going, "Yeah, Robin Hood." Yeah. All they had to show was him just being like, and then maybe like warming to it, and then he shakes his hand. But there was none of that. It showed a few shots of him just being like, fucking hate this is annoying. And he was really angry at Robin Hood, and he walks over and just like, that people like you and they trust you, so shake my hand, and puts a hand out, and he's just like, I can't not shake a hand that's been put out, and he shakes it and then just does whatever he wants. And then at the end, but then at the end he becomes the new Sheriff of Nottingham when they kill the Sheriff of Nottingham.
And then also Two-Face.
And Two-Face, because his face gets melted in half for no reason. You don't really see it even happen. I think he rolls in the fire a bit, does he? Or...
He goes mad because he sees the
he dropped the Molotov cocktail. And
then someone punches him in the back of the head and he falls, but he's holding a Molotov cocktail like they all are, and he falls half in the fire, so it like burns the side of his face. So he becomes the Sheriff of Nottingham.
So he like shakes Robin's hand, joins. So he's against Robin.
Yeah.
Then Robin puts a hand out. He's like, okay, I'll shake your hand, and then we're together. And then he sees him kiss his girlfriend, and instantly flips right. Yeah. Not even back to where he was, to the Sheriff of Nottingham, and now he's the evil one.
And because the Sheriff of Nottingham gets killed by Robin and Jamie Foxx, which is a surprising moment of levity. While there's a man swinging on he's been strangled and he's just swinging in the background, and they're like, "Nice one, Jamie.
Let's get out of here."
Yeah.
On the day's work.
So the Cardinal makes Will Scarlet the sheriff. Don't know why. Doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't know why the Cardinal's there, because he came for a visit, which took ages for him to get there in the first place. At one point, and then left, and hasn't been around for like a week at least. Yeah. And then there's just a scene of him making him the sheriff. So he must have come all the way back from. He travels from Rome to England quite a lot. Yeah.
There's two strange things about that. Firstly, the Cardinal doesn't make the sheriff. The King should decide he's the sheriff, or like they'll governor or something.
The King was just a word in this film, though. They just said the word King a couple of times, but you never saw him, never even heard anything about him. Really.
No, there's no King stuff. And the other very, very strange thing is that when Ben Mendelsohn dies, who plays the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Jamie Dornan, Will Scarlet, Two-Face becomes the Sheriff of Nottingham, for some reason he takes all his clothes and wears them.
Yeah, he wears he's wearing the exact outfit, this long white leather jacket with like a weird grey tunicky thing underneath it, and then
which means that when they strangle the sheriff, because they hang him, they wrap a coil around his neck and hang him in his own hall. After that, Jamie Dornan went round, got him down, took all his clothes and put them on.
He's just like his mind now.
Also, I felt really bad for the sheriff. I don't know. He was a horrible man.
But he was forced into it, but by the Cardinal.
Yeah, and there's a part where he's like, when I was a kid, I was in like a church school and they used to beat me.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Well, they set it up as though it was like a sob story for him, so we could at least be like, okay, we understand why the sheriff's the sheriff, because he got beaten as a child at a boarding school by like priests and cardinals who got drunk and just came back and beat him for some reason. Yeah. But then all that is a setup for Jamie Foxx to make a joke about it later. Oh no, it wasn't Jamie Foxx. It was Robin Hood, wasn't it?
Robin Hood, yeah.
He's like, maybe I should beat you with a stick like you were when you were younger.
He says he's like, they used to beat us with a broomstick, and he like sets him up, and they're about to kill him, and he's like, maybe I should beat you with a broomstick, dickhead, and then he strangles him.
Yeah, and then kills him. It's just like, well, okay. So that whole like understanding the sheriff thing wasn't even necessary. Yeah, because they're just there for a joke.
In terms of the actual actors, I think Ben Mendelsohn's fine. I think Taron Egerton and
they're probably all alright, really.
Yeah, I think
except for the girl.
Tim Minchin's good and Jamie Dornan's good, and I think that's because this is kind of a break for them, and it's quite like Jamie Dornan did 50 Shades of Grey, which is big, but you feel like he has to pivot into movies that aren't about people having sex, and so I think he's maybe like he's probably looking at this, because in the next movie, if they will ever make one, which they won't, he would have been the big bad guy. So I think he was looking at this as kind of his break, and then equally Tim Minchin's not done that much acting. It's a lot of he does music and comedy. And
yeah, I don't expect to see him in it at all until he's popped up. I was like, Jesus. His English accent was better than most of them, and he's Australian.
Yeah,
so he's doing a very decent job.
The two of them are the best, because I think they have to be the best because they've got the most at stake.
They'll prove themselves.
Speaking of things that are at stake, how much did this movie cost to make?
Oh, right. Well, don't want me to tell them, or you want to
tell them? You can tell them.
Was it dollars or pounds?
Dollars.
Okay. It cost $100 million to make. $100 million to make. And as of today, a week after its release, it's made $25 million worldwide, and it's supposed to make most of its money early on, and it wasn't showing that much in the cinema we're in, and there were no posters for it. There was no advertising, so if it's lucky, it'll make somewhere near 50, but maybe not. So it's going to take at least half of its money as a loss.
It's possible that it's not released in like China yet, and sometimes that could take a big. I think eventually it will probably break even, but it's really not. It's not. They're not making a sequel to this.
No way. That wasn't good enough. Well,
didn't make anything.
Yeah, so I thought, we should just briefly talk about other Robin Hood films.
Oh yeah.
So we've seen different ones. Well, we've seen some similar ones and some different ones.
Well, which ones have you seen? Because I've seen most of them, I think.
Well, my favorite one and the one I know the most is the Disney. I think it was the Disney one. It was the cartoon one, and it was like Robin Hood was a fox and the king was a lion. And,
it's from like the 70s.
From the 70s, yeah, that was really good. I watched that one.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, that's a brilliant film. And then the other one I saw was 8 years ago. I saw the Russell Crowe Robin Hood. Yeah. And that was diabolical. Like I told you, like my friends were like drinking at a pub nearby, and like I was like going to the cinema with my girlfriend to see it. My girlfriend at the time was just like, right, well, I've got to see this film, so I can't come. I was like, maybe I'll come afterwards, but it would have been really late afterwards. And we watched the first half an hour, and it was so boring. Nothing was happening. And I was like kind of falling asleep, not really knowing why I was there. And I was just like, can I leave and just go to the pub? And she was like, yeah, I don't want to be here either. So we both left, and that was my experience with Robin Hood.
And this movie, even though this movie, I will admit, is not perfect. I think we all had fun, but it wasn't perfect.
It wasn't perfect. No, but it was better than that previous. At least I sat through it.
At least it's watchable. Do you know the story of that Robin Hood, that Russell Crowe Robin Hood movie?
No, is there a...
what I heard was, I think I read this online somewhere, was that originally that movie was going to be Russell Crowe playing Robin Hood, but also Russell Crowe playing the Sheriff of Nottingham. Why? So like he'd be playing off against himself, and it was like a movie about. It was basically give Russell Crowe an Oscar movie.
Oh right, okay.
About him, like, so he would be like fighting his own inner demons or whatever. So I guess I'm glad they didn't make that.
Well, they'll have to have their own little... Because if you're going to pitch it to a studio, like whoever wrote the screenplay, if you're going to pitch it to a studio, or maybe the studio came up with it, was just like, we need another Robin Hood film.
Yeah.
But they've got to have like a bit of a different spin on it to everybody else. So I guess their spin was that we'll just have both actors be both parts be Russell Crowe.
Everyone's Russell Crowe.
Yeah, and just fighting his inner demons. Yeah. And this one was just like, what if we made it Iraq? And then they just did that. I was going to say, I feel like this film was like 3 or 4 different film styles all in one. So it's like, the first bit's like, there's like a stupid love story at the start, then there's the Iraq War, then there's basically Daredevil because he's free running off walls and rolling about and shooting everybody. So it's a bit like that sort of silly action thing. And then by the end of it,
it's a bad movie.
Yeah, it's just bad. Yeah, and it just kept changing.
Yeah, they have all the Robin Hood, all the normal Robin Hood characters are there. Like I said before, Will Scarlet turns into a bad guy. Little John is. He's got a real name, an Arabic name, but none of them can say it, so they just call him John because they're all racist.
And he's not small or anything either. I think he's meant to be small, but there's no reference to
but Little John's big, isn't he?
That's the joke, yeah. But
he's like, there's no like, oh, we'll call you Little John because you've got one hand or something.
That's just John. Well, they never call Robin Hood at any point. They call him the Hood.
Yeah,
because they don't know it's Robin until the end, and then they don't then make it into Robin Hood.
There's not a bit where he goes like, I'm Robin Hood now.
No, and they'll call him Rob for most of the film anyway, so you never even hear him say Robin.
Yeah. Or Robert.
Robert.
The Guy Gisborne is also in it. He doesn't actually die, does he? She staves his head in with like a pickaxe, but he rolls around afterwards, so you can tell he's still alive.
Yeah, he has like a cough and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
But and then Marion's the love interest, and Friar Tuck is like a bit of a comedy character. Yeah. And then the sheriff who changes anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, doesn't make a difference.
So I think that's all like the main Robin Hood characters.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I just think they should stop making Robin Hood films altogether. I don't understand why they keep, because I said to you before we went in, I was like, I don't know why this is Robin Hood. You can make a steal from the rich and give to the poor, and you can kind of make it different. You can have different characters for once. You're not rigidly stuck in characters. You're not rigidly stuck in Nottingham either. Yeah. And it can be like a hacker or something. You can make it modern if you want, but you don't have to make a Robin Hood modern, but not really modern, not quite sure where we are or who we are film. Yeah. Just because you've got the name Robin Hood on it. It obviously hasn't attracted enough attention to make it money anyway. No. So there's no point in calling it Robin Hood.
I think you're probably right. You could have done this movie without calling it Robin Hood, and it would have been exactly the same. It would have probably made equally as little money.
Yeah.
I like the Robin Hood story. I really like it, and I wish they would make a good one. Because like the Russell Crowe one, there's a lot of that movie that it is a horribly boring film. There's a lot of that movie I like. The costume design and the production design is fantastic. It feels like it feels like the world is like proper, and I really like it, and it feels like it would have done. And it's mostly very straight. It's not like any modern time things happening in that movie. But it's just very, very boring. The story's bad and it's very boring. Yeah, it's a real shame that this one, like all modern day rehashings of old things, is mostly bad.
But you still enjoyed it too.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. It reminded me, like I was telling you before, of that King Arthur movie that Guy Ritchie made this year, where it was like it's King Arthur, but everyone's from East London. Yeah. So that, and it was fun. I thought it was fun. I wouldn't watch either of them again.
No.
But I think they should keep making Robin Hood movies until they make a good one, because I want a good one.
At some point I will do.
And I've not had one.
I think Christopher Nolan's a director. He directs things.
That's good.
Like old franchises and makes them good. Like, because there were no. It's arguable, but there were no good Batman films until Christopher Nolan made a Batman film. They're all cheesy and rubbish, and Robin Hood's kind of been like that for a long time. So maybe just get a good director in to do it and put a bit of time into it. Yeah.
You should do.
Yeah. Right. Well, should we go on to our next segment? Your one of your favourite segments, because you named it again.
IMDB or not IMDB.
IMDB or not IMDB. We'll come back for that in it doesn't matter immediately for the audience, because I'm going to edit this shit.
You won't know there's been a change.
Yeah. Alright, welcome back to the CCU NOW podcast. We're going to be doing the IMDB trivia section. IMDB or not to IMDB.
Which is what it's called.
That's what it's called. Seamus is going to come up with...
I've already come up with...
Come up with his own... Yeah,
extremely brief break we had, where we literally just turned the camera off and back on again. Although you don't know that's happened because of the magic of filmmaking.
Exactly. It's instantaneous.
You'd have to cut out me saying that. I've come up with 5 bits of IMDb trivia. Some of them are true, some of them are not true.
Okay.
So
some of them are published on the IMDb site, and some of them you've just made up on top of your head.
Yeah, by true I mean some of them have been written down by somebody, and some of them have only been written down by me on this video.
Yeah, exactly. Because IMDb trivia, and it's like Wikipedia. Anybody can put anything on there, and I'm not sure if anyone ever checks whether they're true or not.
You can rate it, and it'll be like 130 people thought that might be true.
130 people liked this lie. And as we're about to prove now, you can't tell whether they're true or not, because I'm going to get half these wrong.
Whatever you want. Hopefully you'll get all of them wrong.
All of them wrong, so you can win the game.
So I tell you this, and then this how the segment has always worked is I tell you this, and then you say it be or it not be.
No, I've never said it be or it not be. I've never said that, but I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll do it. Right.
Our new IMDb.
I can say it IMDb or it not IMDb.
Our new pirate IMDb segment, where we pretend to be pirates.
It be, it not be. Right. So if I get 3 right, then I win. Should we say that?
Yeah.
Because it's 5. All right.
Yeah. Well, I think last time we did it, I think you might have got all of them right.
So. Yeah, that was quite ridiculous. And the ones you came up with, the real ones were really boring. The ones you came up with were ridiculous. So there was no close.
I'm gonna. So I've got 5 of them. Some of I warn you, some of the real ones are quite ridiculous.
Right, okay. Cool. Let's do it. Go on, give me the first one.
First one. Originally, Robin and Jack, who were played by Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx, were initially going to be played by DiCaprio and The Rock.
Now, I know that we both saw at the end of the film that Leonardo DiCaprio was a producer on the film. We saw that at the end of the film. So DiCaprio was involved.
Yeah.
Now, either you've come up with a lie based on what you saw at the end of the film, and then just been like, "Oh, The Rock,"
me,
and then you were just like, "The Rock's fun," and you put that in.
Supremely intelligent.
Definitely not beyond you.
I do like The Rock.
Yeah. Or because DiCaprio was in the film, he stepped back as producer because he was busy on something else, and The Rock is in everything, so it could be true. But I reckon just based on the fact that we saw DiCaprio's name at the end, and maybe that stuck in your head, that you came up with that. So I'm saying it not be.
Oh no, that one's not true. I made that up.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. Because we did that. There was something in one of the last reviews that you did where we mentioned an actor's name or something that was like somewhat related to it, and then you made that up again in the trivia, and I know you do that. So
ruined it for myself. Yeah. And the other thing is, the only other person I could think of was The Rock. So I was like, The Rock. It was The Rock and Jason Momoa.
And if you said Jason Momoa, I would have definitely said you lied, because we've just seen the Aquaman trailer at the start of the film. Okay, right, good. Well, on one up then.
The next one is the speed arrow shooting thing that he does, which looks completely ridiculous, is actually a real ancient technique devised by the Chinese.
By the Chinese?
For shooting arrows.
The Chinese came up with it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about how many arrows I've ever seen a Chinese person fire. I've ever seen a Chinese person fire an arrow.
Really?
Maybe. Yeah, really super fast.
Like a machine.
I could believe that's maybe... I'll say it'd be. Fuck it.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh,
I'll just go with my gut feeling, that's all I do.
I'm really bad at this. This got a normal one.
Right.
This movie was released more than 100 years after the first ever Robin Hood film was made.
So the Robin Hood film was made in 1918?
Or more than 100 years.
More than 100 years, so before that. Right.
Potentially.
How long have films been a thing?
I don't know. What do we have a movie podcast?
We should know that. I know they were making films in the 40s and the 30s because the Nazis made a bunch of films. So surely they should. I'm trying to think if I've seen a film from around that period.
I don't think the Nazis made this film.
Would you have made that up though? What I should really be thinking about is not whether it's... Because that's what I always do. I'm like, I think about you and what you might do. Because I know you better than I know history. So I'm like, let me just think about... So... What's the thought process behind that? 100 years. It's like it's such a random. It's like a number that people think of. It's like thinking of The Rock. 100 years.
100 years. They've been making these films.
I'm gonna say it not be.
It's true that.
Is it true?
Yeah.
Oh, you got me.
The first.
I only need one more to win now.
That's
these next two, but I might get both wrong.
It'd be.
It'd be okay.
The first ever Robin Hood movie was called Robin Hood and His Merry Men, and it was released in 1908.
God, they were making films back then.
So yeah, it was probably shit.
Yeah, we should probably watch that for a rewind, like a
I don't think you could watch it today. I don't think it would be possible.
No, too old.
And the next one is it's a good one. The set designers in this film were told to make everything look 1/3 historical, 1/3 modern day, and 1/3 futuristic, in order to give it the look that they were going for. It's a ridiculous look.
This is a hard one. Because this could be true, because that's what the film did do. They accomplished that, definitely.
Yeah, but do you think that they were doing that? The question essentially here is...
On purpose.
Do you think they did that on purpose?
Yeah, I know.
Or do you think I just think it's funny?
I think you just... I always know you think it's funny either way. Because you enjoyed that.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Was that you or is that not? They're getting hard. Now I've got one wrong, I'm questioning my judgment. Before I was just going for it and getting it right. Now I'm questioning it. And when I over-questioned the last question, I got it wrong by thinking about dates and things.
What was your gut instinct?
Gut instinct has to be what I think you would do.
Yeah.
So I think that not be.
That's true.
Is it true?
That's true.
I thought that was you.
Yeah. It said on the IMDB trivia page, the exact words were, this was done to give it its unique look.
Oh my god! So we were right, because we were saying that the film was like divided into like different time periods and different just areas and different everything. Like, and the modern bit will have been that fucking Great Gatsby scene, which is basically Baz Luhrmann's Great Gatsby when they threw a party and everyone was showing up in like all fucking each other and showing up in in fur fucking coats and shit and like all wearing those little like swimming caps with feathers coming out in the women when they wear those and ball gowns and shit like that.
Yeah, and there's big green lights all over the place.
I can't believe that's true. That's such a fucking stupid thing to aim for a film. That's
Two right, two wrong so far.
Yeah, right. Okay, one more. This decides it. I can't believe it's the decider. We've gotten so much worse.
There's some absolutely fucking ridiculous trivia in here.
Yeah.
I left some of the more ridiculous stuff out.
Okay.
The horses in this is related. They did this after the futuristic one because it's related.
Okay.
The horses in this movie were initially going to be a mix of horses and zebras, but they changed it. I can't not laugh at it. But they changed
Zebras? Wait a minute. I heard that really late. My brain replied that to me really late. Zebras? Okay.
It was initially going to be...
Was that the modern bit? Because zebras are modern animals. Sorry, go on.
And it said that like the zebras would be ridden by like the lords and stuff like that.
Right.
But they changed it because zebras are notoriously difficult to train.
Yeah, you can't ride zebras. They're like wild horses. You have to, they're the
That
wildest
was
of horses.
the initial script was that it was going to be zebras and horses, not just zebras or horses.
Right. Well,
there's a lot of horses in this movie.
There is.
Yeah.
And that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but based on the fact that I've said not be in the last two, I'm just going to say be on this one.
I made that up.
You made that up?
Yeah,
Damn it, I lost.
Yes,
oh.
I did it.
I shouldn't have based my answer on what the last two things I said was. You fucking bastard.
I've clawed that back from the jaws of defeat.
They were because they were so ridiculous. Yeah.
Why would they use zebras?
Because they're mental. They went for a third modern and a third futuristic. I thought they were like, well, maybe people will ride zebras in the future. Jesus.
I made that up. Yeah.
It was a good order to do them in as well because the middle ones were so like wishy-washy that it made me fall for the last one.
Yeah. The middle ones were all true. All three of the middle ones were true.
They were true, yeah. And two of them I thought were absolutely ridiculous. So when you had said that one, I was just like, well, the last two have been true, so fuck it, it's got to be true too.
I was initially going to say I knew I was going to do a horse one. I was initially going to say that Robin's horse in this movie is actually a donkey.
Yeah.
That they painted to look like a
No.
But I thought you wouldn't fall for
it. Yeah, because the horses were massive in that film.
And I was going to say that one of them was a zebra, but it was just it had no stripes.
They painted the black bits white.
There was an IMDb trivia about horses saying that, because there's a lot of close quarters horse stuff in this movie. And like, there's like a part where the horses run up the steps.
Apparently, the horses running up steps and horses running face first into walls and breaking through them, which is the thing horses do.
The zebras would do that.
Yeah, zebras do that. They're wild. Zebras are wild.
They're mad zebras. You don't know what they're going to do. But they spent quite a lot of time and effort on finding properly trained horses to do that kind of weird shit. But that wouldn't have been very funny.
No.
I think that's the first time anyone's actually won.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because I think we both figured each other out last time.
Yeah.
I think I got you on a couple last time, maybe, but not all of them.
I think you did better than I did.
Yeah, by maybe like one or something. I think I either got everyone right on the first one, or I got one wrong, and then I think you may have got like two wrong on the last one.
Yeah. You either go completely mundane, and then it's really hard to know because it could be or it could not. Like, there's no real guess.
Yeah.
Or you go completely.
I think the order's a good thing to go for now because you did a good order there where you put some like ridiculous things in there were actually true. So the last one was just I didn't know what to do. I was just like just going to have to go for being at foot.
What was the one that ultimately got you was that one about it being 100 years.
Yeah, if I got that, I would have been fine. But I overthought that. And then the one after, I was like, I can't overthink this one now because I overthought the last one, go for it. And then I was wrong on both, so then I just thought, it's got to be a B, and then that got me as well, so I just fucked it.
The one about the speed shooting thing, I think I internally edited on my page because I can't remember whether it was Chinese or not.
Yeah.
But you were right, though. It wasn't an ancient technique.
Yeah, I didn't really stick to the Chinese thing very much.
I don't know why I added. I don't actually think that was in it. I think I just added that in my brain.
Yeah.
But I have written it on this paper.
Because it's like martial art, isn't it? It feels like a martial art.
Well, because I think it's because I watched that movie, The Great Wall, with Matt Damon in it, and they're always shooting arrows in that, so it's internally in my brain.
You're just like Chinese. Yeah, but nobody knows what race any person was in this film at any point, so it doesn't really fucking matter. They give a shit.
It could have been Chinese people in this movie, and it wouldn't make a blind bit of difference.
Wouldn't matter at all now.
Right, cool, good victory for me.
Yeah, victory for Seamus. Maybe next time I'll win, and this will be the thing now. I'm gonna take a few hints from this, I think, and next time I
spend
do
a bit of time practicing and get some good ones.
Yeah, we should probably actually do it. Spend a bit more time on it than we do.
If we did research.
Yeah, no, it's about to do research.
Right. Okay. See you later.
Yeah, that's it. Then I'm gonna have to clamp things together. That's what I do. I've got these really cool knives. I don't get taken off YouTube for this.
Shit! Don't damage them.
I won't damage them, but I need to like. This is like a really old knife, and this is also a very old.
We live in a weird
house of knives. I didn't buy either of these. These are heirlooms.
They are.
Not even from my family.
Don't cut yourself up with them.
That's the end of it, right? They've been clamped down now. It's over.